scale of the problem is vast. I've just received the latest stats as of this morning, which is the 29th of May 2014, and we've had 419 rhino poached this year alone. You're probably looking at again this year hitting over 1,000 rhino. It's a disaster of epic proportion. And Rhino Revolution was born out of frustration at the lack of action that was seen on the ground.
When we were hit with our first rhino on this conservancy, on the Blue Canyon Conservancy, 3 years ago, made me wake up and said, right, action.
Rhino Revolution is an organization that focuses on bringing in funding and distributing that funding to the experts on the ground who know what they're doing. That goes for vets, education, technology, the lot. We know we're not the experts, but we want to bring the experts of all the different fields together under one umbrella so they can work together to save rhino.
We're not a movement that aligns itself to any of the political issues, whether you should free trade or not free trade, irrelevant. While discussions were taking place, we had to do something on the ground, and that was the birth and the start of Rhino Revolution.
We fund a program in the local community called Green Kids. The idea is to get them to understand a little bit more about the value of wildlife.
They say every child comes from a home of about 7. That was sort of the latest statistic. So if we think that we're affecting, or we are directly teaching 1,000 kids a week, that's families of about 7,000 people in the Acorn Hook region that we are reaching, sort of indirectly through our conservation impact.
The education initiative by the Green Kids, I think it is a very good investment in assisting young kids to build the knowledge about the wrongs of not just rhino poaching, but poaching in general.
We're very excited about working with Karen Trendler and starting a Rhino Revolution orphanage here in the Hoedspruit area.
There currently is a huge need in this area for a good facility to care for calves. Rhino Revolution and the people and projects associated with it seem to be the ideal situation to get a facility up and running as fast as possible and to provide really good quality care for those calves. And the idea being to produce calves that can go back into the wild.
All those poachers that have been infiltrating the Kruger Park, those poachers that are battle ready, they've been shot at, they've done it 1,000,000 times, they're coming in and motivated, knowing he's going to get the payday of his life. The golden rule of anti-poaching is feet on the ground. Forget tracking dogs, drones, all the rest of it. People on the ground looking for spoor, looking for poachers. There is no better guardian in Africa than the guy that gets between the animal and the poacher.
Last night, ProTrack anti-poaching unit caught 2 separate groups of poachers, both trying to enter farms. Before they even got into the farm, 2 weapons and the equipment to dehorn a rhino, and they stopped them.
One of the unique features that we have is a mounted anti-poaching unit, one of the first of its kind, and we've been fortunate enough to acquire some retired racehorses which have been brought down from Zimbabwe. So these are thoroughbred racehorses.
I think the biggest advantage is that they're silent, that they're quiet. You don't want to be driving a vehicle with these poachers chopping off a rhino horn or cutting up meat that they've just caught in a snare. You don't want them to hear your approach. And with the horses, that is as good as walking.
I like to think about Rhino Revolution less as a charitable NGO and more as a movement of people. And they're now prepared to fight back to preserve the rhino population of the world. And the global public have begun to question the value of funding that actually goes to the front line, that goes to the cause.
So how do people know that they can trust Rhino Revolution and donate money to us? We make sure that if you want to donate, you can pick which of our projects to support, and we will make sure 100% of your donation goes to that cause. There's no admin fees, there's no other costs involved.